Hey everyone, it's Ken here, and we're out doing another lantern video. The weather's been pretty great here, and as you see, we've been very busy in the lantern workshop and doing all sorts of things. But got to show off a new lantern that I got. Well, I say new lantern. I got it probably a couple months ago, maybe going on a couple months ago. But yeah, look at this, CT Ham number 2 Cold Blast, and actually, this was picked up at an antique store out in Columbia, Pennsylvania. If anybody ever has a chance to go out to Columbia, Pennsylvania, there's a lot of cool antique stores out there, and really great place to visit. The reason we went out there is because my cameraman's son has a passion for clocks, and the National Watch and Clock Museum resides in Columbia, Pennsylvania. So lo and behold, we took a ride out there to check out the museum, and also while you're there, you know, I figure I had to Google and see what kind of antique places are out there, and there's some really nice antique places. One of the places, which I picked up this for a very good price, and it did have a new Dietz globe in there, though, one of those thin, you know, glass cast globes. So I did replace it with the Fitzall, and it was a little bit rusty, but I decided to do a cleanup and started cleaning this thing up with very minimal effort, and I cannot believe how well this thing cleaned up. It just had some very light surface rust on it, and I didn't have to scrub very hard at all, and I can't believe the condition of this thing. This thing came out absolutely gorgeous, and it's a really nice lantern. So without further ado, why don't we just give it a light up and see how nice this thing actually performs. It's a really nice lantern. It's a really nice shaped flame. And we'll let that warm up a little bit. But another new addition that we got, something a little different. And there's a story to this one. This is a mill lantern, but I'm going to call it my ghost lantern. And as you can see why. It's not in very good condition, but I decided to keep it that way. And it has a kind of a funny story to it. Start out with the beginning. I actually got this thing. Fellow was having a barn sale not too far from here, and we went to check out the barn sale. And I know now when I go to these sales to always keep looking up to the sky, because you never know what may be hanging up in the rafters. And lo and behold, this thing was hanging up in the barn, and it was very dark in the barn, although he did have a piece of blue painter's tape on there, and it said $20. Well, what I thought it said $20. So I went to get the gentleman, and of course he comes with a ladder because it's way up in the, you know, the top of the barn. And he takes it down, and I see the $20, and like I said, mind you, it was really dark. And me, like, when I see a $20 on a lantern, like a moth to a flame, literally, and I don't mean that in a pun, you know, with the way these moths, but I'm like, I'll take it, right? Well, okay. So I got the thing, I paid him, I get the thing out in the daylight, and I see it's not in the best of condition. It's really, it's the top air tube was all roached out, and the cage here needed a lot of repair, and what else was missing? A hinge here. So I kind of put a lot of work into this thing. But at first, before I even did the work, I was not too happy. I figured I would just sell it. I figured I would just turn it around, and so I listed it. I listed it for sale online. In the meantime, I had this thing sitting in my hallway in the living room, and sat there for like a day. And I'm in the living room, and I keep looking at, there was no interest right away, and I kept looking and looking at it. And I'm like, I can't sell that lantern. I'm going to have to end up keeping it. I'm going to do the best I can to fix it up, and I'm just going to make a good user out of it. So and I'm going to call it my ghost lantern, because it looks like something you take on a ghost hunt, or out, out in a cemetery or something, in a on a scary night or Halloween. Maybe it be a good Halloween prop. But so I ended up doing a lot of work. You could see here I had to put some high temp epoxy. The air tube was all roached out. It actually came out way better than I was just trying to make a usable lantern out of it, and it actually turned out pretty good. It was missing one of the hinges from the cage here, and what else? It had it just was in pretty bad condition. Although I gotta say, as bad as it was, the cap was not stuck, the burner was not stuck. It had a reasonable wick in there. As far as the mechanics of it, it was good. It was just the mechanism here to try to get it to operate proper. Oh, and the kit, like I said, the cage was all bent up and out of whack, and then I had to work on that to close. Oh, that's right. The other thing here was the globe plate. If you notice, the globe plate where it would lock up with the cage, it does not line up. Somebody actually did a previous repair. They had to solder this, and they soldered it way out of line to where it was supposed to be. But can't do much about that unless I want to resolder. So I'm just going to kind of keep it as an eerie ghost lantern. So why don't we just give that a light up? I mean, it does actually work pretty well for what it is. But yeah, I just think it'll be kind of a neat lantern. And it's going way too much. In fact, I didn't even clean the globe. I think it is very proper to keep a dirty globe in it, but I like it. I kind of like it, and doesn't leak either. Believe it or not, I wasn't expecting that. I thought it was going to have a leak, but I've had fuel in it for quite some time now, and not one bit of leakage. But it's a mill lantern, and in fact, it doesn't even sit straight. I don't think. I think it leans. I think it does have a little lean to one side. Oh, and it has a rocky, see, kind of rocky bottom there too. But it's pretty cool. So yeah, so that's my couple of new additions, and here we go. We got the ham going. Look at the flame. Look at the flame on that. Look at that awesome flame. It's bright. Wow, that thing is kicking out some heat too. That's really hot. So that's what I did, and then I also did a cleanup. I got a new Hong Kong Little Wizard #1 that I had in my garage for some time, and if you stay tuned, I'll play some video of that. I did a little cleanup on that. If you guys are interested, hang around, and that'll be our video for this week. I appreciate my few new subscribers that I got. People keep subscribing. If you like, I appreciate that. And everybody take care. We'll see you real soon with another lantern video. Bye bye. Hi guys, so we're out here at the lantern workbench again, and we got a new project that we're about ready to start. What we got here is a Dietz #1. Yeah, look at that. This is something I've probably had in the garage for the last couple of years, maybe, believe it or not. This is one that my dad picked up for me at a flea market. Probably got a really good deal on it. It's a really nice lantern, but as you can see, it's filthy dirty. And yeah, it's just disgusting. Look at this. It's got leaves on it and everything. But it looks like it's in pretty good shape. Everything is complete. It's got the burner. Look at that. It even still got the, look at that, genuine Dietz. Look at that on the globe. This thing may never have been burned. I don't know. It's hard. I'm gonna have to get in there and see. But maybe it was. Maybe it was used, but not very much. So yeah. So why don't we give this a clean up and see how good it comes up. Okay, so we got it fully disassembled here now, and actually it has been used. Obviously, it's got signs of being burnt here, and then it's got some soot up here in the chimney. Obviously was used, right? But yeah, I think it's going to clean up pretty well. So what I'm going to do is I use my Super Clean. Seems the best way to clean these up. I do about a 50-50 mix with Super Clean and water. Put it in a spray bottle and give it a good spray down. Scrub with a little nylon brush and hose it off. So we'll see you over at the hose. All right, so I picked a nice shady spot out here. We're over at the hose, and I got my spray. I'm going to spray the whole thing down. And don't be afraid, because you're not going to do any harm. I've done many lanterns like this before. Just get that right in that chimney where all that soot is in there. And just go at it. Look at that. Made in Hong Kong, by the way. It's Hong Kong, maybe, in case you haven't seen that before. But yeah, it's a Hong Kong one. So what I do, spray it all down, my good nylon bristle brush, and get up in there, get all that soot out of that chimney. Ugh. Yeah, it's coming. It's coming out. And then you want to get your globe plate, you want to get everything all where you can get in, as much as you can get into there, even around the fount. Give it a good old scrub down. Well, actually looks like it might be in decent shape once we get it cleaned up. And you got the back here. And what we'll do is we'll just let this soak for a little bit, and then we'll give it a good hose off. All right, so let's give it a good rinse off here and see what we got here. Look at that. Not bad. Not bad at all. Well, now one thing I did forget to mention is that what I also do is I also give it a good amount inside the fount to wash out any old crusty fuel that may be in there. It's not going to hurt anything. Just got to make sure that we dry this really, really good. And slosh it around, give it a little water, and then rinse it right on out of there. Rinse real good. Oh, look at that. That's interesting. That's what you never know what you find in these things. That's why it's not a bad idea to give it a couple times. And then yeah, we'll continue rinsing, and we'll see you back at the dryer. Okay, back over at the workbench, and I got my trusty air dryer here. And what I'm going to do is give this a really good blow dry, inside and out. And I'm not going to bore you with the loud noise in the process of doing that, but you guys get the picture. We'll be back when it's good and dry, and I'll show you the next step. Alright, so I got this thing good and dry, inside and out, but you never really know if there's any droplets of water still in that fount. So what I do is I use a little trick here. I take some isopropyl alcohol, which mixes very well with water and has a great water absorbing property, and I just give that like a little bit of shot inside the fount. Swish that around real good, and turn it upside down too. Get the top of the fount, give that a good coat, empty that out, and then continue with the blow dryer real good. And then you could be sure that there's no water in there in case you did want to add fuel right away. Okay, so there we have it, all back together again, all clean. I wiped down the globe. Also forgot to clean the cap, but I did the same thing for the cap. Gave it a little shot of the super clean, rinsed it off, brushed it, and look at that thing, cleaned up pretty nice. So yeah, it's all ready to go next time I decide to use this one. But for now, since it's got that label on there, I may just kind of hang on to it the way it is for a while. Keep it unfueled and unfired, even though it was fired already. But yeah, it'll be a nice addition to the collection just to hang around. And now that it's nice and clean. So yeah, there you have it. There's a quick cleanup on the lantern for you.